Okay, testing. So we are up to our final stage, and this is the most complicated bit. So strap in. This is going to be a little bit more complicated than the rest because we're going to be using arrays and lists. Let's have a look at where we're up to. So at the moment, we've got a one segment snake that can move around on the screen, bumps into the edges of the walls, can eat an apple, gets points when it eats apples, and the apples then regenerate and randomly kind of spawn around on the screen. But it's not snake. Snake, by definition, has got more than one segment, otherwise it wouldn't be a snake, would it? So this is your final lesson, and this is the tricky one. Let's see what we're trying to achieve. So this is what we're looking for. This is what we want to happen. We want an actual snake with a body with segments in it that kind of follow each other around. And when we eat on these apples, really our snake should get longer. Now I haven't implemented that at the moment. Maybe we'll do a part 11. We'll see. We'll see how we get on with this one. But that's what we're working towards. Right, let's see what we've got and let's see if we can adjust it. So first of all, I'm going to turn off the debugger to make this a little bit clearer for what we're actually trying to achieve. I'm going to F5 that and I'm going to give it a run. So what do we need? Well, we need these snake bodies. We need these parts to the snake. Let's see how we're going to implement that. So first of all, to implement these kind of sections, we're going to add it to something called an array. And that's how you initialize. That's how you kind of start an array. We're going to call it tail. Then we're going to have the size of the snake, and the size of the snake will start with a snake of size 5. So those two parts at the beginning of the code, they're fairly easy. Now let's look at this next bit, because this is where it starts getting tricky. Here's what we're going to be coding. We're going to do this bit here, and we're going to be using something called a push function, and we're going to be using a dictionary for an object within this array called tail. We're then going to loop through it, and we're going to use a function called shift, which we can use on this array, and it'll just move all the elements down one. So that's quite tricky unless you've got a visualization. So I'm going to try and visualize it now like this for you. So what have we got? Well, what we're trying to achieve is we're trying to get blocks. We're trying to get these sections of the snake body all kind of next to each other in some kind of list, in some kind of array, in some kind of data structure. Now what we've got from that is we kind of enclose them. This is going to be the first piece, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, and then finally the fifth piece. And they're going to be kind of like within this structure. They're going to be kind of nested in that. And what we want to be able to do is kind of point at each of them in turn so that we can draw it on the screen. So we'll start on this first one. This will be the head, and then we'll move to here and draw the second one, the third one, the fourth one, then the fifth one. But once we move and the head moves on, we kind of want this second one to kind of catch up the position of the first one. So once the head moves, you want the second one to take the position of the first. And then the third should take the position of the third, and the fourth should take the position of the third, and the fifth should take the position of the fourth, or something to that effect. Well, let's see if we can first of all get the data structure written. So we need to affect this thing here. Now, this is quite complicated code. I'll go through this in little pieces. The first thing we're going to do is take our array, which is called tail, and we're going to push, which is going to be add an element onto that array. Now, tail.push with parentheses is how you do that. Now we're going to be a little bit sneaky, and we're going to put a dictionary lookup inside there as an object. And what we're going to do is we're going to make something called the tail x, and then we're going to have something called the tail y. And we're going to make the tail x and the tail y at the start. We're going to make those equal to the x and the y position, because that's how we're keeping track of where we're currently pointed to. So the first thing that goes on the list, the first thing that gets pushed onto that array is the head, is the x and the y there. Then what do we want to do? Well, to start with, it kind of almost doesn't make sense. We're going to shift everything that's in our thing down, and we're going to go from the start of the list to the end of the list. Where we're going to achieve that is by using this while loop here, which is going to actually draw over the top. It's going to put everything in the same position. So we're going to take the head of the list, and we're going to push it along to the second thing, then we're going to push that along to the third thing, and push that along to the fourth thing, and it's basically put everything one on top of the other. So all the parts are going to essentially have the same position. Now, how do we do this? Well, we've got ourselves a while loop here, and the while loop says as long as the tail length, now this length is a function that we can apply to the tail array and say how long is it. Now at the start it's 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, while the length of this array is greater than the size. So if our the length of our array is bigger than the size, then we're going to keep shifting. We're going to keep pushing things down on our list. We're going to move everything along one. And what that's going to achieve is when we save and move back, is it's going to achieve nothing. It's just going to cause our game to be slightly laggier, because what we're doing is not drawing the head at all. We've just got a data structure with these sections inside it now. So our next job for our final video is going to be actually drawing each of these sections of the snake.